It's Talk Erie and the Joel and Natalie Show. Live here from 429 State. We're also live on YouTube and Facebook. We're awaiting our phone call with Senator Dave McCormick here at any moment now. We're expecting the senator. It's 4:47, and so we will go to him as soon as we are able. The senator, has been vocal in a lot of different issues, including Iran, being a combat veteran himself, a Gulf War veteran, and also, what's going on with DHS and so on. So I think we have him now. Let's go to Senator Dave McCormick, Republican from Pennsylvania. Good to hear from you, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey, Joel, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for joining us here. I want to kind of jump right in as we have limited time, and Iran is so certainly at the forefront here. Again, you're a Gulf War veteran. You sit on foreign relations. You've been a strong voice in this conflict. Where do you think we are as far as measuring success with this war in Iran?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I want to make 3 points on this. First, I think the president's decision to go into Iran was absolutely the right decision. This was coming to a crisis, inevitably. Imagine a world where that ballistic missile that Iran had that they shot 2,500 miles had a nuclear warhead on it. That was the path they were on. So I think this was necessary. No country in the world has more blood on its hands than Iran, more American blood. And this was a risk that we just couldn't take. Second, I think the military campaign against the president's objectives has been very successful. So that what the president said was destroy the ballistic missiles, destroy the drones, destroy the launchers, destroy the capacity to manufacture them and take out the Navy, and make sure Iran doesn't have a path to a nuclear weapon. I think over the last 6 weeks, we have systematically destroyed much of that capability, most of that capability. And the remaining question, really, of course, there's a Strait of Hormuz, which we can talk about. The remaining question is Iran going to give up its commitment to having a nuclear weapon and its enriched uranium? And a world where Iran can have a nuclear weapon is a world that President Trump's not going to accept. I think it's one that most Americans wouldn't accept. So what I think is happening now, we're at a crossroads. And Iran can decide whether it wants to continue down the path of military conflict, where we're essentially just going to keep pounding on the Iranian infrastructure and taking down what limited capability they have left, or whether they want to go down a path where they give up that nuclear capability and really have a path to prosperity for the people of Iran, the great civilization, the Persian civilization. I mean, this is a great country that's been run by a bunch of radical nuts for 50 years that want to destroy America, the great Satan. So that's where I think we are. It's too early to tell how it's going to go, but I think we're putting growing pressure on. Just a final word, the blockade is going to stop vessels from coming in and out of Iranian ports. That's where they get 90% of the income for the country. That is their entire economy. So that's going to put a lot more pressure on Iran.
Do you think the pressure will come from places like China, who really depend? I think it's something like 40% of their oil comes through the Strait there. I mean, China, Pakistan, they're all kind of one, and all of these European countries where their jet fuel comes from. Again, it's amazing that we're kind of stuck in the pickle there, and we really don't need the Strait for our resources.
Yeah, we're far less dependent. I mean, I think I think America can't accept a world where Iran controls the Strait because it's of such strategic importance. But it's not because America needs that oil and natural gas. I do think the blockade is going to put two sources of pressure. So the first source of pressure is from China and other places. The second source of pressure is from the people. Mm-hmm. So imagine this economy just is essentially going to go to a standstill very quickly. There's no new revenue. There's no income coming into the country at a time where it's expending enormous income on missiles and buying new weapons and so forth. So, listen, I'm hopeful that common sense will prevail and that they're going to give up this nuclear program. I just don't think there's any alternative for us than to get rid of it.
Senator Dave McCormick's on the line here on Talk Erie. Let's talk about DHS funding. This has been quite the impasse. Really not a great look for Congress at all. Where do you think this needs to go?
Well, I got to tell you, as someone who came from the business world, this is the thing that makes you want to pull your hair out. The dysfunction, right. The idea that people would shut down the government and punish essentially the people that are working on behalf of TSA and the Secret Service and FEMA and so forth to get some sort of political point made. That's essentially what the Democrats have done. This has been political theater. But it's a disgrace. I'm embarrassed by the whole thing. And it's happened at a time where the threat for Americans has gone up because we're in this conflict with Iran. We've had terrorist attacks in Michigan at a temple there. We've had terrorist attacks in New York City. So this is an unacceptable situation. We now have a clear path through it.
Okay.
And the clear path through it is, number one, President Trump has stepped in. He's used emergency authority, so people are getting paid finally. TSA is getting paid. All the different people are getting paid. Second thing that's happened is the House is going to vote on the DHS funding bill that the Senate passed. That doesn't include it doesn't include all the funding that's required for ICE and for Border Patrol, but some of that funding already exists. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing, through a process called reconciliation, the Senate is going to pass that additional funding for ICE and the Border Patrol, but we're also going to do it for an extended period until after President Trump's out of office, so we can make sure that the Democrats can't use shutting down and not paying ICE or Border Patrol as leverage. So that's happening. The president is on board with that plan, and he asked that we have that bill on his desk to sign no later than June 1st. Okay. We had a lunch today in the Senate. It seems like that timeline is going to work. So that's the plan. But what a absolute mess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, incredible. Hey, I want to jump back to last July and your energy summit. You organized the largest private sector investment announcement in PA history. Talking about $90 billion in investment. How does this now become real jobs in energy, artificial intelligence, the data centers? Again, there's it doesn't lack controversy, right, about where those data centers are placed and how much draw they are on the grid. What's your thoughts on energy and AI right now?
Well, I want to just paint a little bit bigger picture because I basically think Pennsylvania is hugely attractive right now for capital, for talent, because of the AI revolution, because of energy, but because of defense reindustrialization, life sciences. The world's changing so quickly, and Pennsylvania is in a unique position to take advantage of this. And just since I've been in office, 6 things have happened, which I think tell this story. And I'm not taking credit for these things. I was involved in all of them, but this was a lot of people involved. Number one, Nippon U.S. Steel. Mm-hmm. Next generation steelmaking, $14 billion investment, the Monongahela Valley. It's absolutely going to both save jobs and create new jobs. Second big thing, Amazon Web Services announced a $20 billion investment, 2 big data centers, one in Bucks County, one in up near Columbia County where I grew up. Huge, thousands of construction jobs. The third is the Energy Summit. That's $50 billion on energy infrastructure and $40 billion on data centers. Those jobs are coming, and some of those investments in those sites are already under construction. That's going to create tens of thousands of jobs. It's a huge amount of investment. Fourth big thing, Hanwha, Philadelphia shipyard. We got a shipyard in Erie, too, that we're focused on right now, too. But the Philadelphia shipyard, Hanwha, announced a $5 billion investment. That's 5,000 new jobs. Wow. Eli Lilly in the Lehigh Valley announced a new plant for GLP. This is $3.5 billion investment, 850 new jobs. These are all 6-figure jobs. And then finally, Westinghouse announced that Japan had agreed to buy 10 nuclear reactors over the next 10 years. That's $85 billion worth of revenue for Westinghouse. That is going to be thousands of jobs in Western Pennsylvania. So this is happening. This is part of a moment of change. We need to make sure that these big investments don't disadvantage certain communities. We got to make sure energy prices don't go up. So we got to make sure the The data centers bring more energy than they consume. We got to make sure that people across all walks of life benefit from this AI revolution. But this is a chance for Pennsylvania to be at the forefront, the lead of the growth and opportunity for our kids, Joel. This isn't about you or me. We're past the point of thinking about new jobs, and we're not young. But for our kids and their kids, this is what's going to be the future.
All right, I know you have a hard break because I just got to do a quick ask about, has the sand issue landed on your desk up here in Erie at Presque Isle, or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. We'll let that lie.
Yet.
Let's talk about fentanyl because, again, you've been passionate about this case. We've seen this huge drop in fentanyl deaths from 4,000 to 1,500. You've been deeply invested. What are your thoughts on that?
I had the FBI director with me last week, and it was one of those things where I had so much pride for the good work that's been done, and also just a deeper commitment. We had the fentanyl families that came with us last week. We had the Attorney General, U.S. Attorney, law enforcement, and the FBI director. And essentially, I campaigned on this. I met with fentanyl families during the campaign. It's heart-wrenching to hear these stories. And I said, I'm going to do everything I can. We got to secure the border. We did that. We got to convince China not to send the prefractors. We did that. You got to make sure that Mexican cartels are in check. We're going to go after them with our military. We did that. We got to pass new laws that go hard against anybody that's dealing fentanyl. We did that. And law enforcement came together in Pennsylvania with the FBI, with the DEA, and we've made huge progress on this. So we were at 4,000 a year in 2024. We went to 1,500 a year, 1,600 preliminary in 2025. And you know what? That is 1,500 or 1,600 too many. Yeah. We got to stamp this out, but we're making real progress on it. And it's those fentanyl families that were with me who lost a child. I think they were just relieved that that their hardship, their heartache, was helping in some way other parents to make sure they don't have the same, crisis, the same tragedy that they suffered. And we're getting there. We're getting there. I give President Trump a lot of credit. He made this a real priority.
Well, Senator Dave McCormick, hope to see you at some point here during this America 250. We're getting our Niagara back, and hope to see you sometime when the sun is shining in Erie, Pennsylvania. Appreciate it, sir.
Look forward to it, Joel. Nice to talk to you. Bye-bye.
Nice to talk to you. Appreciate it. There we go. Senator Dave McCormick here on Talk Erie.